Well, hello and welcome to Talk Time. And this week, we're going to talk about a variety of topics, perhaps issues, and all of them would be related to the Ministry for Gender and Children and Social Protection. Welcome to Talk Time.
I'm home. Come to me. Oh, into that come honey, sir. Dang.
Castle. So when you mean this will be a bit of the Hanuma, can one carry an asset? A day, pay your answer, young man must say.
Oh, what happened?
Try me, maybe. What for cocoa bit? When it's blue, and answer, some legend. Young Casabe may say, what for cocoa castles? A day and number 2, and you 2, and me a friend say, come 2, driving me, what in a doom was seen to me, Yaduma. When my draw will be a, was this in Bedao, Amadeus or DM, what the
a drawing and yama a pin for, one warmer and manu for, a name more fra when you fear do me.
Ghana Faja to Munti, cover 4 at the say, Male.
Well, hello and welcome back to Talk Time. And as I indicated from the very beginning, we're going to be talking about a variety of topics. We'll probably be talking about Mother's Day, which falls on Sunday. We'll be talking about the mandate of the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection and the programs that they have for the disabled and so on. And we are particularly privileged today to have with us in the studio the Honorable Cynthia Mamle Morrison, the Minister. Madam, you're welcome to the studio.
Thank you so much, I'm Kwesi.
Yeah. Well, first of all, what's the broad mandate of your ministry?
Thank you, and thank you for giving me opportunity to come to your studio. I'm so glad it's a beautiful environment. I came enjoy the people around even before you came in. The Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection is a broad name. It deals with human beings from birth, from cradle to grave, you know. Because we deal with children, it's a gender ministry. It is not a women's ministry. So we deal with both male and female. And then also we deal with the elderly people, especially, and then the physically challenged. Mainly it's about the vulnerable. Because we hardly get people who are not in any trouble just coming to the ministry. If you see somebody in suit coming to the ministry, then it means maybe there's a problem with a wife or something. You see a woman who is well-dressed comes and then there's a problem with maybe the husband or whatever. But mainly we receive the vulnerable, especially the physically challenged. We do their policies, but unfortunately, we don't disburse their common fund because of decentralization. 3% of their common fund goes to the local government ministry, which goes to the districts because they live in the districts. They don't live in Accra. So when we disperse it, it means they're all going to move to Accra. But since the local government is disbursing it, it goes to the local district offices, the municipal assemblies, and then they disperse it. Our mandate is to supervise and make sure that their monies are received. We have a gender office in our ministry. Even though they are not, our mandate is only to take care of their policies. We have a gender secretariat where they report issues on what is going on elsewhere. But like I told you, because of decentralization, social services outside my ministry, the main ministry, is under social welfare. Even the social welfare is under the local government. So it's a bit dicey. We do policies, but we don't do a lot of implementation. But anytime there's a problem out there, the only thing they say is the gender ministry. Even though we are not directly involved, it is the local government who is involved. We do policies, but because we are dealing with human beings, and I'm passionate about it, even if it is not within my jurisdiction, I just move in just to help or maybe draw the attention of the local government or the people involved.
Are there some specific policies or programs geared towards resolving the problems of the disadvantaged, probably disabled, and women and children and so on? Are there some policy initiatives or programs?
You know, in Ghana, we have a lot of laws and bills and all that. The implementation is my challenge now. Implementation. You know that we are talking about the teen pregnancy. We are talking about the teen marriage. We know that the children are supposed to marry after 18. Yet there are certain tribes that are giving children out at 13 and 14. The law is there. What do we do is the implementation. I stand from a point, do we arrest them? How many cells do we have to arrest all these parents who are giving their children out in marriage? So why don't we move to the communities where the people are, have the advocacy programs with them, let them know the reason why their children have to finish school, get matured, you know, get a job to do before they marry. Because if a 13-year-old girl marries, it's like a child who is going to have a child. How will she fend for the children? She doesn't have any job to do. She doesn't have any education. Even if the child is sick, how would she know and all that? So we have to have an engagement with the parents, the people involved. That is what I'm advocating. It is not so much the laws and bills are there, all right, but the implementation. So now we are going to move. But like I told you, local government. So we have to seek permission from local government before we can even move out. If we want to go to, say, the northern region to have a program with them, we need to seek permission from local government before we can do that. So here, the ministry's main agenda, like today we did a program with a young, it's a gender, so not only ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about peace. So we did a global peace summit with the president, chairing the program. So we do all these things. In Accra is fine, but the moment it moves out, then we have to seek permission from the local government, and then we move there.
Are some of these programs ongoing?
Oh yes, Sunday is Mother's Day, but Friday we are having a program for mothers with physically challenged children. You know, we have some children who are physically challenged, yet they're able to go to school. Maybe hearing impairments, they have, hearing aid. Some of them are, sight, they have their aid to walk and all that. But we have some special children who are stuck they can't even go anywhere. Like children with autism, it's extreme. The extreme ones can't even go to school. And then this name I always keep forgetting, those children with, abnormally big head, some of them, their necks cannot stand, their spinal cord. So those ones are they are, sort of bedridden. They have to wear diapers all the time. You go to their room, the stench is so bad. The mothers cannot leave them and go and work. Who helps them? So we are going to do a program for them on Friday. As many, we are starting with the pilot, so it may not be that large. We are looking at, say, between them and the women who are on the small scale, tabletop sort of wache and kinky and all that, we are getting them together to give them a token whereby they can start business. For the wache people, already they are working, the kinky and stuff, we just encourage them. For these mothers, we are looking at a certain amount of money to give to them so they can even set up a table in front of their house, even if it's water they are selling, they can at least get something out of it and take care of the child, because they don't have anybody. If you are giving them the leap, it is not so much. So this is a special project that we are doing for these special mothers so they can take care of those children that God has given them that unfortunately are not like, us or like our children.
Is this a nationwide program?
I'm doing the pilot in Accra. And then, I can't do it all in the whole country. We don't have enough, money for that. And so what we are going to do is that our budget does not cover that. Even if we raise the budget to cover it, it cannot cover the whole country. From here, we would also encourage the members of parliament, the MMDCs, if they can do it in their various. I am going to do it in my constituency anyway. So if they can also do it, then we can get corporate bodies coming to help. We can get philanthropies coming to help, because therefore it's a genuine cause. We have people, when you see, anytime they come to you, they come with tears in their eyes. Who takes care of that child? So we have to do something. Some of them have started learning a trade, like threading beads, making sandals and all that. Whatever we are going to give them, they are going to push it to their business to take care of the children.
Who is funding this pilot?
Yeah, this pilot is mainly sponsored by the ministry. We have corporate bodies who are giving us gifts to give to them. We would mention it when we start, because they are still compiling the list. So I don't want to mention some and leave somebody who would not be very happy. They are going to give them food stuff. They are going to give, it's a Mother's Day, so we are going to give them hampers for Mother's Day and all that, aside the monies that we are going to give them. We have LEAP. that we disburse to the poorest of the poor. And we have our monitoring system. We have funds for the monitoring. Last time, we decided not to go out and monitor. We have people on the field. They should do the monitoring and come and give us the feedback. So that money that we were not able to take out, we are going to use that for these people because that money was supposed to come to us. So we are forfeiting that money as a ministry and help these unfortunate, mothers to also have a good life.
How did you select the beneficiaries? Or the participants in this program?
We had a disabled day, and then some of the mothers attended. They have NGOs who take care of those people. So in collaboration with the physically challenged, we had I told you we have a desk in our office. They, invited the women. That's why I said we are doing a pilot for those that we know. There are other people that would not know. So when we move from here, at least I'm sure once this thing is done, there are others who would also come. But we'll have to make sure that you have a child like that. Otherwise, anybody else will come. So we'll do the monitoring and all that. So the first phase will be for those that we know. And then subsequently, we'll do it for others who we don't know. And then also for the wache and stuff, we send our team out. You may not know what you are doing. Somebody's coming to buy wache from you. They're looking at the way you behave towards your customers. So they bring the sampling, we taste, and then we all decide, oh, we like this one. So this one is in Adabraka or Osu or Kanda. So we just write to you. We tell you, inform you on Wednesday that we are inviting you on Friday for a special program. So it's something that they don't even know we are going to do. It's a surprise package. We realize that they go to events, award ceremony. They only award the top of the top. What about those now? And we like the local wache, Yeah, so why don't we just...
What about the local wache? Do you like
local wache, local kenke, local beans and plantain? They have to start from somewhere and move up. Somebody should recognize them to encourage them that, oh, so I'm doing something good that somebody is appreciating. Even the fancy kenke and the cocoa and the buffruit and all that. We are looking at variety of food, not only wache. I mentioned wache because I'm a wache fan. That's why the wache keeps coming. But we're going to, for the banko and tilapia, for the banko and okra, so all those little things that you think nobody is recognizing you. We're bringing them together. And then after that, we did training for the artisans. You know that most of us, somebody will come and live with you, and then the promise you give the mother is that when she stays for 4 years, I'll let her go and learn a trade. She goes to learn hairdressing, or she goes to learn dressmaking. And then the madam expects that she comes to work at 7. If she doesn't get to work at 7, they punish you to buy needle and thread and whatever. And madam leaves home after 7:30. You expect that the girl will leave madam home and go? No. But you go and they punish. So now we had a training for the, how do I call them? The madams, the artisans, the madams and all that, to let them know that the category of people that they are training, most of them live with people. And you don't expect her to come home at 8, when madam will close and get home at 7. Or the daughter would close from school at 3. So at least there should be some leverage, let the children feel comfortable, and the way they treat them. And they themselves spoke. They themselves were not happy about the way some of their people, treat their young ladies and gentlemen. They send them to the market, occasionally fine, but like the routine, go to the market at this time, go and cook, go and bring my child from school, while somebody knows that she's paid for her to learn a 2-year trade, and then even go and cook for my husband and all those things. And they will snatch their husband. So we talked about, it was a beautiful thing. They themselves brought out most of the things that I would have loved to see. So the moment they brought it out, we talked. So that's a beautiful thing we did. So we are doing training for not only those on the... I want to go down there and bring them up.
Now, mothers with children with disability, beyond the fact that some of them are not able to cater for themselves, what are the problems that the children themselves face?
Yeah. My son failed his hearing test in the US. I didn't even understand. They do it at childbirth. The second day, they come and pick the children, do their test, do their eye, do everything. But they told me he failed his hearing test. And I didn't bother much. They detained us in the hospital and did it again, and still he failed. So they discharged us and gave us a date. And because I didn't know how serious it was, something happened. I was even late to the hospital. But when I got to the hall, almost all the doctors had lined up, and they were like, I looked at them and I was I just put my card, Morrison. The moment they heard the name Morrison, they all panicked. We're waiting for you. They took my child and then they went in there. They did, and so that was when I was alarmed that there's something wrong. They went in and then it took a long time and they brought the child. They called me in, they told, them. They didn't go straight. Then finally they told me my son has failed his hearing test. And it's until he's 1. They can't tell whether he was going to hear or not. I took it in my stride. I brought him home. I didn't even tell anybody, not even my husband. I brought him to Ghana. I did every doctor that I could in Ghana. And, all they told me was that it can only be done in the States. Meanwhile, I'm coming from the States where they're telling me I should wait for a year. A year, we went back, and they told me he has some multiple of infection and all that. From the hospital, I told myself that I won't go to any hospital again. I came to Ghana, I just prayed for him, we continued, we just left. I'll take him to school, and he will not respond to anything and all that. Then one day, he was just watching telly, and I was sitting with him. And I was talking, I mentioned his name. He said, "Mommy, did you call me?" And that was like, they'd given me the whole world. So I know what it feels like to be a mother with a disabled child. The pain. You can't, I didn't tell anybody. My sister said, even my children, I didn't tell them. So I was just hoping that this boy will respond. So I know there's psychological things that these parents are going through. I know the pain, especially when you take an autistic child to church and he's misbehaving and all the people do, go and take your child, he wants to, and then it's like you are being irresponsible. Meanwhile, you've been with this child throughout the day and the tension. If he doesn't sleep, you can't sleep. You give him food and he'll throw the food away. I see them, and I have some passion for children with disability. I don't know where it's coming from. Even before my son, I run a school. It's a regular school. But I tell you, I had children coming to my school in Maryland, Montessori in Accra. And they would come so deformed. I had celebrities, doctors bringing their children who couldn't hear, and I didn't know why they brought them. And I see this child and I tell God, you did it for Junior. And I'm telling you for a fact that all the children that came to my school who were not able to hear or deformed, even physically deformed, every one of them went either okay or improved. I have their pictures, and a parent will come to me and say, somebody told me that if I bring my child here, she'll be able to walk. And it is not a school for physically challenged. I haven't even spoken about this for a long time. It just came whilst I was talking to you. And I know that my parents are watching. And they love me for that because there's a celebrity. He didn't want to accept that a child. I told him I had a child. I showed him Junior. Junior was like that. We have to do a lot of talking with the child. So do this. And I had one, I'll mention names. I can't because the parents will not be offended. When I come to school, she'll have to pick my bag. If somebody else picks the bag, she'll get angry. And I have to do anything, she will not mind me. So when I come, it's Aina who have to come and pick my bag. And she came crawling, but finally I could see she could move, she could climb the stairs. Joyce could climb the stairs, and Joyce was first in Ghana. And I tell you, if you saw her the first day, they could not take her to school. So children like that, we want to let their parents know that they are not in it alone. There are people who have had it, and there are worse situations, and there are places where you can say, we're thinking of it, can we merge children with the physically challenged, especially autistic children, with the regular children? I feel that when we isolate them, because children learn from each other. Some of them don't throw saliva, but the moment they see somebody doing, they do it. So I'm thinking, do we merge them, or once in a while we can take them to the regular school, let them have a feel of it, and then come back? It's a passionate thing that I'm doing. Once we start with this one, then we'll roll out all the things I want to do for these special people who did not decide to come into this world like this, but God brought them into the world. And any of us can be disabled. Accidents can make us disabled, sickness, anything can make us, somebody sleeps and wakes up, disabled. And so we have to feel for them. But I've realized that in Ghana, we don't have so much, and even those on the road, they are on common fund. A lot of them have learnt a trade, yet they're on the road. We are trying to get them off the road, but it should be a gradual something. As for children on the road, we are getting them. But for these ones, because they are begging for money, but it is against the law to give somebody begging money. If we can have a place where they are, this is where they learn their trade, occasionally you have something, you can send it there. And I think it will make put Ghana on a certain leverage.
Well, viewers, we are talking to Madame Cynthia Mamle Morrison, Honorable, the Minister for Gender, Women and Social Protection. And we're talking about a variety of topics. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, I'd like to find out the fate of the old Social Welfare Department. Short break.
What's wrong?
They took all my precious stuff.
Did they harm you?
Just when they were about to, they hit the siren and bolted.
Scout the area. You don't have security cameras?
They stole everything.
I thought you used ghost cameras from security.
Security warehouse?
Yes, you should. They couldn't have gotten away the way they did without either being electrocuted or being caught on a CCTV camera.
Well, welcome back to Talk Time. We are very privileged to be talking to the Honorable Minister for Gender, Social Protection and Women. And we've been talking about Mother's Day, which falls on Sunday. We are talking about the plight of women with children with disability and what the ministry is doing for them. As a child, I remember that we used to have the Social Welfare Department, which dealt with most of these issues. Now, what happened to the Social Welfare Department? Is it still there? And if it's there, how does its work marry with your work?
Yeah. Social welfare is still there. It is under our ministry. But like I said earlier, because of decentralization, it moves under the local government ministry. And so we work with them. If there's any problem, they call us. But mainly they call local governments because of the district assemblies. They are there, so they handle it from there. And we just had a seminar with them together with the health, education and all that. My biggest challenge or my biggest problem I have with this is when a child is defiled. She goes to the hospital and the mother would have to pay before the child is being attended to, or before the doctor, appends a signature to the report whether the child is truly defiled or not. That is something that I don't want to understand. Mostly children who are raped come from the lowest, I don't want to, that's all I can say. A mother who is selling banana and knows that the banana is going bad, so she gives some to the daughter to go and hawk, and somebody gets her and rape her. And you say that mother should go and pay 200 cedis before the doctor appends the signature. That is where the social welfare will have to come in. At least we have a desk in the hospital, so we have to resource them so that when the doctors too should know that it's a humanitarian something. A child who is raped, you are just appending signature. Do you have to take money? So we are working together with the Ministry of Health also, not only local governments, so that this thing will be enforced, that if anything like that happens and they bring that child, you just attend to the child. Even if you have to build a ministry, do that instead of taking money from so sometimes the parents go to hospital and they don't have money and they let go, and by the time you realize the girl has ruptured her womb because it will take a month or two. Some of them even get paralyzed because the mother thinks I don't have money to go to the hospital, so she decides to use local herbs and all that. By the time we realize, everything is gone back. But if we have the system in place where the child can just go and be attended to, then we can save some of the situations that we find so bad, because the social welfare is still there. And we used to have in Kwalaboni school, we had some at a Sipon in the secondary. My sister used to work with social welfare, so I know the school very well. We are trying to revamp the place so that when these children misbehave, especially those on the streets, who we see ordinarily are onto drugs and all those things, if we feel the child is, doesn't want to adhere to instruction, maybe we can send the child there so that we can train. We have some in Stradro also. It's now a vocational school. So those schools are not existing. The structures are there, if that is what you're talking about. But the social welfare itself as an institution is still there.
Madam, it seems to me that some of the problems you describe are symptoms of poverty.
Yes. Yeah.
So can we address those problems outside the frame for fighting poverty and inequality?
Yeah. The only system we have to fight poverty is the LEAP, which we give to the poorest of the poor household. We know it is not enough. We are trying, and what we are doing now is that after going around to monitor the LEAP, we realize that there are some of them who are taking the monies on behalf of the beneficiaries, like a sick mother, an orphan child, or a disabled child, and all those categories. Those people, the factors are those that we have to give the money to. Those who take on their behalf, some of them are into soap making, gari making, and all those things. At this time, some of them have been on the leave for a very long time. We are trying to leap them off the system. Rather, give them a certain amount of money. If they're going to take like a year's money or whatever money we give to you, so that you add that money to the business that you're already doing. That will rather help you to take care of the children than coming to queue every 2 months for the LEAP money, so that we can enroll other people onto the LEAP. We don't have the system whereby we can give everybody, every poor person money in this country. It is not possible. And we know that even in America, it's not everybody who gets the chance of going on the welfare. You have to go through a certain system before they can put you on welfare. It's the same here. Poverty is everywhere in this world, even almighty America, where there's so much food to throw away from McDonald's in the evening. We still have the poor people sleeping on the streets and begging for food.
But is there a conscious effort to fight poverty? I mean, not under your ministry, but broadly, in order to be able to deal with all of these problems.
You're seeing the planting for food and jobs that they're doing. I go to my constituency. Some of the local farmers are now able to access maybe fertilizer, they get the maize and plant and all that. What we are also trying to do is that as a ministry, especially because of the school feeding, if we can even buy directly for the local farmers, because that is also part of the concept. Buy from the local farmer so he can also get some money. So if we can buy in bulk, then we can buy and do a supply chain to the school feeding caterers, so we can put some money in the pockets of the people. Women especially are very hardworking. How they take care of their children, you don't even know. They fight poverty. Men, I don't know how you fight it a little, but the women are the champions of fighting poverty. You agree?
Well,
you have to agree. You have no choice. It's a fact.
Okay, if I have no choice, then I agree.
I agree, that's right.
Yes. But you mentioned the case of drug abuse, which appears to be a major problem. How do you propose to tackle drug abuse?
It is a serious thing. We all have to. I can't tackle it alone. The media will have to tackle it. The musicians should play songs about it. We go to the local areas. The churches should talk about it. The assemblymen who live in the community with the children should talk about it. It is I'm telling you, during campaign, we go to the ghettos. We see them. We know where they are. You talk to them, some of them come out of it. Others is a social problem. They feel neglected at home. Some of them, especially the women, they feel abused by their spouses or their home. It's a multiple of things that has brought this together. But if we tackle it early, especially like the children on the street that I'm talking about, I pick them to the shelter. The next day, when some of them were not there, and they told me, madam, they mentioned that he's going to buy Tramadol. This one too is going to buy They mention it as if it's normal. And they do it, and they will tell you, this one does this, this one does that. We would think that it is coming closely to us, because you think that you sit in your air-conditioned car and you move. Those boys on the street, if we don't tackle them well and get rid of them, put them into schools and into vocation and make sure that they move from this bad practice, you'll be driving and they pull a knife at you. You'll be in the traffic and they will hit your glass. You think you don't come near them. They are closer to us than we think. Because coming in touch with them, and I look at how tiny these boys are, and they talk about we and Tramadol, and they know what it is. It is a sad story.
Now, if you talk about drug abuse, one of the substances that is most abused these days is Tramadol. What are we going to do about it? Are we going to stop its importation? Are we going to regulate it? How come that Tramadol is so available to young people?
Thank you. As if I knew you were going to ask this question. I'm on the Committee of Defense and Interior. Last Wednesday, was it Wednesday or Friday, we had a meeting with the drug. They came, we talked how, everybody has the idea. Let's legalize this. Don't let us. So they bring the bills to us so we can send it to the floor. And then I asked the last question about Tramadol, because I hear a lot of children and a lot. And for the first time, they explained to me Tramadol is a pain relief medication. It isn't something that we can ban. 100 milligram is okay. 250 and above is illegal. So I asked, then it means somebody can buy 3 bottles of hundreds, and there's nothing you can do to the person. Once he's in possession of 100 million, even if it is a box, you can't do anything. But if that person is in possession of 250, then you can do something. I'm saying then we are dead. But that medication also helps pain relief for certain category of people who are going through surgery and all those things. But we have some people from neighboring countries who come dressed with hood, I don't want to mention any name, hood, and they'll be selling those medicine door to door and all those things. They bring those, the 250 ml and all that. Somebody can buy the Tramadol, 250, and pour it in this bottle. How would you know? So the education should rather go down, because it is a substance that is supposed to be a pain relief something. We can't ban it. You can't even arrest 100 ml person, somebody carrying 100 ml. So let's do the education. Let us go down to the children. Let them know how bad it is. We show videos of it, somebody who has taken it and how the person looks. And I believe that even if we don't get it all eradicated, gradually we can move somewhere.
Couldn't we try making it a prescription drug?
It is a prescription drug.
You can't get it off the counter.
Off the counter is a problem, but we have people who smuggle it in. Ghana, off the counter works outside Ghana. Ghana, people just go hard and medicate. They'll go and they sell because the person wants to sell. But if there's something that binds them, if there's something that will let them know, if we can regulate and know that, look, you can only take maybe 10 boxes of Tramadol and sell in your shop. So that we'll have to get receipts and prescription that states that the person, then we can do something. But if we leave it just as it is, people buy from other sources rather than them. If you go to Kolebu, for instance, or you go to one of these big companies without prescription, I don't think they'll sell it to you. But we have people in ordinary kiosk selling provision who sell Tramadol. And the boys know and they go there. They have people in the drinking bar. They sell it. And the boys know and they go there. You see, with drugs, it is so contagious, I don't know how they do it. In my school, in Shredru, when they have to weed, we bring the prisoners to come and do the weeding for us. Prisoners who are about to go home, they get to the school, and within 30 minutes, this one wants to go and weed, this one wants to go and do this. And by the time they search them, they find weed. How they got it, I don't know. So it's something that I don't know whether it's a spirit that calls you that, hey, once you're in this vicinity, there's some here or there's some there. Same with Tramadol. So if we're able to regulate it and know, and then those who are doing it, they know how harmful it is to the human body, especially these young people, and they desist from selling it to them, I think we'll make a headway. But for now, it's coming from different quarters.
But there have also been reported cases of...
arrest.
Inhalation of petroleum fumes.
I hear even mattress.
An inhalation of glue and so on.
Super glue and mattress and all that. I hear all those things.
So how are we going to deal with this complex, problem?
Education, because the person is inhaling in his room. What can government do? What can the police do? What can you do? Even the journalist, what can you do? He's doing super glue is super glue. So he goes to buy super glue. He doesn't need prescription for super glue. I hear even the mattress, the foam. So the foam, he sleeps on it. So he decides to cut and inhale it in his room. Mattress is available. What will you do? So when we educate, when we let them know the dangers, everybody allocates maybe a few minutes on TV and radio. The vans would go out and talk about it. Because those children are our children. I always say that, look, we have to educate both boys and girls. If we think that we are going to educate girls and leave the boys out, we are going to be in big problem because those boys are going to marry the girls that you have educated. He is not educated. He hasn't been told that don't hit a woman. He hasn't been told that you can't just put your shoe anyhow. He hasn't been told that you can help your wife in the kitchen. You let him, and you left him behind, and you show the lady how to be a lady, how to be courteous, how to be this and that. She's all that she is. Now she goes to take a man who doesn't know anything, and then after the honeymoon, he shows, what is it? Why should I come and help you in the kitchen? So we bring both together. So with these children who are doing all these things on the road, they can be your friends, your son's friend. They can be your grandson's friend because we can't choose our children's friends. So he goes out and then he makes friends with the boy who knows how to do the mattress and he shows him in the room. Where will you be? But when we train everybody and say that they are our children, every Ghanaian child is my child. So I'll locate some time on my TV station to educate these children and to educate parents that we shouldn't leave our children. We should know what they are doing. We should be part of their lives. Because most parents, we are not part of our children's lives. So we don't even know what they are doing. But if we are part of their lives and we know what they are doing, they can even tell us that my friend said I should smoke this. They will tell you. But if you don't, and we are always hard on them, they go and your friends say, this one gives you relief. Even if your father insults you and you take this one, everything will be cool. They will do it.
Well, viewers, we're going to go for another break, and we are in conversation with Madam Cynthia Mamle Morrison, Honorable Member of Parliament and Honorable Minister of Gender, Women and Social Protection. And when we come back from the break, I'd like us to focus a little attention on the abuse of women. What is the abuse of women? What are the different forms that this abuse takes? And what has the ministry planned to deal with the abuse of women? Short break.
Yes, Dad. Everything has been installed. Yes. Okay. I will be fine, Dad.
Yeah, but this is the day tonight.
You gotta keep long, go do the far job. Charlie, high tech.
She the lie bad go happen tonight. This are no fence.
They couldn't get in this time.
How come?
Security warehouse.
Smart choice.
I guess you have some footage for me there. Crystal clear picture. Pause. I think I know this man. He has a long history with robbery and rape. You are fortunate to have equipped your house with gadgets from Security Warehouse. Call it in. We'll begin the investigation from here.
Control, come over.
Well, hello and welcome back to Talk Time, and we are in conversation with the Honorable Minister for Gender, Children and Social Protection. I hope I got the name correct.
Correct.
Now, we're going to move to the area of the abuse of women. Madam, when we talk about the abuse of women, what are we actually talking about?
Abuse of women comes in different forms. Physical abuse is there, psychological abuse is there, sexual abuse is there, verbal, everything. I'll give you an example of issues that come on our table, and those are the ordinary ones that come. A man comes home and the wife has not prepared what he wants. And then he says the wife is eating, I put poison in the food. He kills the wife. Others would fight you even when the children are there. A man looks at the wife is dressed up and like, oh, I'll be back soon. Where do you think you're going? You look so ugly. And it kills you. The insult alone, you think that you didn't do anything. I just said, what do you think? You look ugly. It kills you. And some of them also will not even talk to their wives. No, I won't say wives, spouses, because women also do same thing. So let's talk abuse in marriage or abuse, in nature. Because some women also fight their husbands, they beat their husbands, and that is very wrong.
I was going to come to that because the statistics from DOPSU indicates that cases in which women actually molest men is on the rise.
It's on the rise, I know. Some women also do same, you know. That is where I earlier on I said, let's bring both boys and girls together and train them. When we train them and they grow up, we'll have this thing in a minimal form. There's a man who comes home with a girlfriend to sleep sleeps overnight, whilst the wife is at home.
And there are women who do that too.
To sleep with their...
Yeah.
Bring their boyfriends home, daring women. Bring their men home to sleep whilst their husbands are there.
Yeah.
It's a bad world we are living in. And what example are you giving to your children?
It's about power relations.
Oh, the woman is more powerful than the man.
Sometimes.
So she looks down on the man and brings another man home. And the man is watching.
Sometimes it leads to murder.
It leads to murder. It's a sad thing. It leads to murder. Some people bring food home from their girlfriends and come and sit and eat, and then they'll be giving remarks, this is good food, this is what a woman can do. Meanwhile, the wife is also there. So all these forms of abuses, I won't condone any of them. If the men bring their cases, I will not support the woman because she's a woman. No.
But it's been argued that if you look at the problems from an institutional perspective, women are disadvantaged.
Oh, women,
because the whole of society is patriarchal. Is that how they say it?
Yeah, women are disadvantaged. That is
what
very
are we
true.
doing
to help them?
To dismantle that male-dominated, controlled society?
You see, naturally men are strong. They're stronger than the women. You find a few masculine women, you know, those are the ones who dare beat their husbands and that. Women are fragile, and women are more caring. Women are more into marriage than men because they feel that when I lose this marriage, I lose on. There are so many women who, when they divorce, will not want to go and marry again. Or even when they lose their spouses, will not want to marry again. But even with the men, even whilst the women are there, they are marrying. You know, let alone you dying, or let alone you living. You know, so we have those cases. A lot of them, the vulnerable ones, are women. A lot of the majority are women. And the abuses that comes from men to the women is more than the women, you know. Because it's odd for a woman to say that I have a boyfriend aside my husband. They hardly talk about it unless they are in circles. You know, there are some women in circles who do those things and they think it's normal. But even with that one, they can't dare tell a third person what they're doing. But the men can boast about it. They can go out with the women and they don't really, really care. But at the end of the day, if you give the woman the respect, that's the mother of your child. The man is the father of your child or your children. Even if you don't have you don't have offspring, still that is your partner. So we should give each other that respect. You know, it's very, very important. But the abuse of the women, it is not easy. And most women don't also work. She works in the bank and the husband says, stop, stay home and take care of the children. 3-4 years down the line, then the man changes. Even sometimes 1 year. Meanwhile, she's resigned. Not that she even asks permission for 2 years or something. She will insist that resign, I'll take care of you. The moment she resigns and he knows that there's no job, then he begins to misbehave. And that kills the women slowly because she thinks that she's so handicapped, she doesn't know what to do. When she leaves, who will take care of the children, who will pay the rent, who will do this and all that. So it's a bit of a challenge. But like we said, there are some who come for help. And for those who are seriously abused, we have a shelter. If they don't know, we have a shelter where we can keep them.
I was going to come to that.
We have a beautiful shelter. So if you are in such a position that your life is at stake, threatened to death, call us. Come to the ministry. We would keep you and maybe invite the man. We have talks with the man. If we think it's not working, maybe we'll get you something to do. But we have a beautiful shelter for women who are abused.
How many shelters do you have?
For the abused women and for the trafficked women, we don't talk about it. We don't show where it is.
No, I'm not talking about where. How many?
Oh, we have like 3. In Accra now, we have 3 shelters. In Accra now. In other, we have in Kumasi. Some of them have run down that we have to. But in Accra, 2 shelters, 2 of them beautifully done.
Are they adequate?
Oh, for now, we even still have space.
Oh, I see.
Oh,
perhaps
now,
you don't know.
They don't, that's what I'm talking about it. For now, we have space. Yeah.
No, okay. Yeah. Okay.
But we don't intend to make it a permanent home for them. You know, they come in the time of crisis. We sort them out. Some people have families to go to. Others, you know, sometimes the men change, and there's one time that he did that, maybe he was drunk or whatever. We see that you are of good behavior. The woman can go back. The shelter is not to break marriage. The shelter is just for security, where the person can come and know that I'm safe. So after that, we talk and we think it's okay to go, then she goes.
What about the role of law enforcement agencies?
And we have the DOPSO. They handle it. You know, financial, sometimes they tell you financially this and that, so we couldn't. And the other people who don't even trust DOPSO, but DOPSO, they work with rules. You know, if you come and tell me your husband has beaten you, it doesn't mean I should straight away go and arrest the husband. Maybe he did not even beat you. So they have to find time, maybe, you know, investigate and all that. When they feel that the process is slow, they think that they are being biased or they are, you know, supporting the men, so they don't have faith in them. But all I'll say is that is the institution we have. We've talked to them. We should have faith in them, because a good law is better than no law at all. So they should have faith in them. And send
But
them.
are you satisfied with the performance of the law enforcement agencies?
Oh, not very satisfied. Nothing is satisfactory to a human being. Not very satisfied. I would wish that there was no crime. I would wish that there was no abuse. I would wish that there was nothing at home that would bring you into these places. Do you understand? And you know the family system that we come from. The man will hate the wife. And then the family, they will call. If you don't, you know, bring the case out of this place, then it means you can't marry, you won't marry your husband again. Or all those things. The chiefs would come in, politicians will come in, because they'll come and appeal to us, oh no, but this is what has happened, go and beg my wife for me. So we all do the begging and stuff.
Oh, you've been begging?
Oh, we've been begging. It's a natural thing. We've been begging. We've been begging. Not begging us to condone what the person did, but begging us to, the man telling you that I'm now reformed, I will take care of her and I will promise not to hate her again and all that. Because I won't allow somebody to just go to be beaten. So we've been begging. That's a natural thing. Even chiefs beg. You don't beg. Sometimes you beg for people. We all beg.
Well, we're going to take another short break, and when we come back for the final session, we would be talking about other things like what has been known as disability-friendly infrastructure and so on. So, short break, and we'll be moving on to how we have created our society, and whether how we have created our society actually enables those with disability to function. Short break.
Yes, Dad. Everything has been installed. Yes. Okay. I will be fine, Dad.
Yeah, but this debate tonight.
Tell you guys to keep long, go do the far job. Tell you high tech.
She did lie bad. Go happen tonight. This are no fence.
They couldn't get in this time.
How come?
Security warehouse.
Smart choice. I guess you have some footage for me there. Crystal clear picture. Pause. I think I know this man. He has a long history with robbery and rape. You are fortunate to have equipped your house with gadgets from Security Warehouse. Call it in. We'll begin the investigation from here.
Control, come over.
Well, hello and welcome back to Talk Time, and we are talking to Honorable Cynthia Mamle Morrison, the Minister for Gender and all the other things, social protection and so on. We've been talking about many things. We've been talking about the Mother's Day, which falls on Sunday. We've been talking about shelters for abused people. And we've been talking about drug addiction and so on. But one of the major concerns that people with disability have is that we have constructed a society which is not so friendly to them. I mean, you go to a bank and the entrance is made for people like us and not them and so on. Now, Madam, do you have concerns about how we are constructing our society? And what may we do to be able to make our society friendly for those with some disability?
Thank you. I believe that we are working towards it with the Ministry of Housing. We are working now. We can all attest to the fact that you go to most banks, almost every bank now has, because those who didn't have initially, and the construction was without, now they even have a metal, accessible roof for them. They just created overhead at Domi, has the disability friendly where you can move your wheelchair, and the people are saying it's too high, but that is what should be done because of our brothers and sisters who are physically challenged. We all know that some years ago, we were not used to wheelchair. People who were, sort of sit in the wheelchair now used to crawl, and they didn't have wheelchairs. Now we have wheelchairs. Now even with our babies, we push them in the stroller. So now, it's now hitting us hard that we need these things. And for all the new buildings that are coming up, I see the accessible, roads being constructed. It may not be perfect because when they constructed certain buildings, in my office, for instance, it was the American ambassador's office, it was an American embassy, and they gave it to Ghana as a gift. I don't even know how we can construct that. You can only come up to the first ground floor, but you cannot move up. But for our new ministry building that we are building, we have the ramp for them. So I believe that the new buildings that are springing up, we're having it. And we should also, even in our private homes, where there are story buildings and you think it is so high, we can get all those things. And then for those new buildings, I was also thinking, we could have a lift. You see, you go to China and those places, they have that small lift in their shops, where you stand in and it moves you up. You see that kind of thing. It's not it's not a full one. So we can do certain things to it. But I can say that most buildings now have accessible access for the people with physically challenged.
Well, you move around the country and you see that there are so many second-hand shops for wheelchairs and walking aids and so on. How come? Why are we not making our own? What is the problem?
As for technology, it is not my field at all. I don't have any idea how to make a wheelchair. It is not in my... I haven't even thought of it. But we'll think about it. Maybe we'll think with the people... As for me, it has not even clicked at all. That we can manufacture a wheelchair. No, I haven't thought of it.
Because sometimes I get the feel that if we were to use local materials in shaping them and so on, they could become less expensive.
Yeah, I think so. Apostle Sappho's and the rest who do these things, I think we'll discuss how, and then we'll talk to the engineers and things and find out. That is not my field. I don't know.
But thank you very much for coming to the studio.
Indeed.
It's been a pleasure.
Yeah.
Now, viewers, we've been talking to the Honorable Minister for Gender, Women, Children, Social Protection, and so on. I've been talking about many things. We've been talking about Mother's Day, which falls on Sunday. We've been talking about people with disability and how we can make them a little more comfortable. We've been talking about drug addiction. We've been talking about the core functions of the ministry and so on. I've learned quite a bit, and I do hope that those of you who listened at home may also have been able to pick up a thing or two. Now, if there are questions to ask, if there are comments to make and so on, we can continue the discussions in our homes and possibly on other platforms and so on. At the end of it, we do hope that as many of our citizens as possible will be able to live a full life. Thank you very much for watching, and on behalf of Pan-African Television and our entire crew, including the producer-director, I suppose it's Adam Lumon, who is producing the show, we'd like to say a big thank you to all of you. And please don't forget, this is the station which gives you the best in news, best in current affairs, best in entertainment, best in sports, wow, best in everything. And this is also the station which is linked to Telesur. We are broadcasting to 28 countries in Africa and broadcasting to 10 countries in South America. Stay with us. Bye-bye for now.
Let me wish mothers a happy Mother's Day on Sunday. All mothers, I wish you God's blessings and God's favor. And I pray that your children will grow to take care of you. Not only you, the fathers as well. It's not your day yet. We're only doing mothers. Happy Mother's Day to all.
Well, bye-bye from all of us. Bye-bye.